All right. Happy Friday, everybody. So, it's a rainy day all of a sudden in SF. Now, I was planning to do this video on this topic, but I was going to do it outdoors, but I can't. It's raining. So, you get it in hella this time. And what I'm going to talk about today is the other thing I do that's, well, somewhat philanthropic. I don't think you could really call it philanthropy. It's not like the portraits I do for families in shelters where, I'm a professional giving this service away for their benefit. This is a little different. It's something I picked up at Burning Man my second year that I went in 2015 that really touched me. I got to be a part of it at the temple, and I decided to bring it back to regular world, or as they call in Black Rock City, default world. And that is that I do listening for strangers. Here's my sign that I made and that I use. And I set this up wherever I'm doing it. I set up 2 pillows. They're like meditation pillows, buckwheat deals. You just sit on them, wherever. I've done it on the beach. I've done on city streets. I've done in big cities, small cities, parks. I'm pretty good at picking where to do it. But here's the thing. And there are other people that do this. I'm not the only one, but I haven't found like a group. I guess I should look a little harder, but it doesn't really matter to me because I just do this. Where you set up somewhere where there's a reasonable expectation that someone could have some general privacy and sit down and talk to you. Talk to you as a total stranger. And of course, it gets all kinds of looks. I have people stop and treat me like a crazy person, asking what I'm doing. When I tell them, lots of eye rolling, lots of giggles. And that's okay. I don't care. It doesn't bother me. But every now and then, I've been doing this for years now. Let's see. Gosh darn, going on 10 years. And in all those years, I don't know, I've probably done it 100 times, I'm guessing. It's not something I do every day, but I do on the regular. I've probably had 60 people, I'd guess. Because there's lots of times I set up and do this, and people stop and talk to me, and they ask, what is it about? And I explain, like I will to you here in a moment. And they just find that kind of cool and say, well, thank you for doing that. But they don't talk to me. But every now and then you get someone who does. And it's a monumental thing. 9 times out of 10. It's a deeply moving thing. So here's the deal. As a listener, I'm not a counselor. Okay, I'm going to pretend you just said, so what are you talking about? What are you doing? And I say, okay, well, here's what I do. I will listen to you. I'm not a counselor. I'm not a psychologist. I'm not going to advise you on anything. The whole point of talking to me is that I don't know anybody in your life. You can talk to me. You could say anything about any aspect of your life that you don't feel like you can actually talk about with anyone in your life. You can say it to me and it goes nowhere. Basically, you can hear yourself say out loud something you've been thinking, something that's weighing on you, working on you somehow, that you can't speak to anybody because you're afraid for whatever reason. Or maybe you've been thinking something that you've been afraid to say out loud, or it feels weird to say it out loud without talking to another person. You can say it to me. And I'm not going to judge you. I have no horse in the race. I'm just a human being here being open to whatever you have to say, whatever you need to get off your chest. And in a lot of cases, what you need to hear yourself actually vocalize and say out loud to someone who isn't going to react. Because I'm not going to react. I'm simply going to look you in the eye, let you say whatever it is you have to say, and that's where it ends. It's for you. It's for you to hear yourself speaking out loud something you've been thinking and feeling for however long that for whatever reason you haven't vocalized. And there's a lot of power in speaking something out loud, especially something that you have been afraid to say for whatever reason. And that's the thing. So that's why I tell them. And that's where 9 times out of 10 it ends. And what's interesting is I can get 2/3 way through my spiel, what I basically just told you, and I know I've gotten to where I see that, okay, this person's going to sit down and talk. And when they do, it's a big deal. It's often about terrible grief someone's going through, often about something they're really angry about with someone they love and they don't know how to deal with it. I've had someone, talk about being unfaithful and just basically fall apart right in front of me because they'd never spoken it out loud to someone, other than, I guess, maybe the person, obviously, who they knew they were cheating with. But it's heavy-duty stuff most of the time. And I feel their pain, I feel the emotion, but I can do this without reacting. And that's what they need. Because if you think about it, and this is something I learned in 12-step groups, oftentimes the worst thing you can do when someone tells you something that's really brutal or difficult is to react to it. To like, oh, come here, and oh, kind of envelop them with this sense of, oh, I'll help you fix it. We can fix this. Like, I have ideas, or we can fix this. When what they really need is for you to just listen. Just hear them. Just let them get it out. Don't start thinking about what you can do about it. No, just absorb it. Just listen. And yeah, it's every time that somebody sat down and talked to me about it, they talked for 5 minutes. I've had one person talk for like 15 minutes. Very rarely do they walk away without having gotten emotional or tearful. And again, I don't advise them on anything. I can't. I don't know them from Adam. And I can see it's cathartic. I'd be amazed if I'm perceiving that wrong, but I'm pretty sure it is. And I think the reason I feel and know that it is cathartic for them and transformational is that I've done mirror work, which is when you're speaking to yourself in a mirror. And this is part of work that you do with your personal work, especially when you're dealing with overcoming shame and guilt and low self-esteem. Mirror work, looking into your own eyes, saying what you need to say to yourself. That's tough stuff. And so I see this happening when they're looking in my eyes. Sometimes they have to stop looking in my eyes, and that's fine, but they can see in me that I'm not processing stuff for them. I am just listening like an empty vessel. And it's an amazing thing to do. It's an amazing thing to be a part of. And I can't imagine not doing this. It's really become part of my life. And I just wanted to talk about it. And along those lines, I wanted to encourage you. I mean, it's really helped me learn how to be that listener for people I am in relationship with, people I do love. I've learned this skill and the importance of listening without offering solutions. I mean, there's times when somebody's asking for your opinion and advice and help them figure out a solution. But then there are times when they just need to talk, and learning to know the difference is a really important skill. And one I feel really grateful to. I think I've developed pretty well at this point. And so I just wanted to encourage all of you that give it a try, or not that, encourage all of you to give it a try with people you love. The next time a friend or a loved one, sits down, you can tell there's something on their mind, And whether you initiate or they just start talking about a difficult thing, shut up. Don't offer solutions. Don't try to soothe them. Let them talk. Let them feel what they feel. And don't try to immediately soothe it or make it okay, because that doesn't help. We have these powerful emotions. They're important messages. Negative emotions are just as important as a positive. We don't enjoy them, but they're super important. And they send us really big deal messages that we need to hear ourselves say. We need to speak it out. And there's a time and place for figuring out what to do next. When someone really starts revealing something that's deep, until they stop talking, you shouldn't talk. You should just let them talk. They'll reach a point where they'll say, are you with me? Or what do you think? Or, well, hopefully they know you're with them, because you're with them. You know, you're engaged with them, with your eyes, with your spirit, with your energy. When they're ready to have you talk, they'll talk. They'll ask you, you know, what do you think, Rich? I mean, what would you do in this situation? And I will admit, maybe half a dozen times, the person has said, you know, man, I just can't believe I told you this. And I said, you need to talk. You know, it's fine. And there's been, like I say, half a dozen times where people have said, well, what do you think? What would you do? And there's only been a couple times where I literally had the experience that they're talking about. And I said, you know, you understand that I'm not a counselor or anything, but I have had the experience you're talking about. Oftentimes they can tell, because I may start crying when it hits home. That's happened a few times. And I'll tell them my story. I won't tell them what to do. I'll tell them my story. And by the same token, I'll let them know that it was at the point that I opened up and started talking and quit holding this in. That's when things started to turn and even had the potential to get better, that I could make the changes that would make things better. And that's about all the advice I've ever given, is sharing that, you know, getting it off your chest is like a huge step. It's like coming out of denial, basically. You know, you speak something out loud, there's a certain accountability to it, even with a stranger, because you just say it out loud to another human being, the thing you've been holding in. It's a big deal. And I feel so blessed to be a part of that. And I just want to encourage you to do the same. Maybe not publicly. You got to have the right personality to do that. You have to be willing to sit there and be heckled a little. I don't care. I think it's easier for me because I'm an old guy, and it just, people can joke and laugh and giggle. I don't care. I really don't. But you can certainly do it for the people you love in your life and your friends, and I would encourage you to. Watch for those opportunities. And do it for yourself too. If there's something you've never said out loud that you're feeling, even if it's just mirror work, where you look at yourself in the mirror and you say it out loud, I'm telling you, it sounds corny. It did to me at first too. You'll see it isn't corny. You'll see it has power. So that's my thing today. Just wanted to talk about that and encourage you to really listen. Listen to those you love, and listen to what's in here too, because that's your guide. So there you go. Let me know what you think, and happy Friday. See you next time.